So I saw Alien Romulus in theaters. I've been really excited for this movie. I'm a big Alien fan. I love the first two. And I've been hoping this was like a return to form with this franchise. Overall, I thought this was a great movie. Now, this isn't a perfect movie, and I'll get into two nitpicks I had and one big negative. I will say this is the best one since Aliens, and I would put this as the third best Alien movie. So the positives with this movie, it does a great job capturing that claustrophobic, horror, tense vibe. Like it does really feel like it goes back to basics. Like it feels like a horror movie like the original. Like it goes back to basics. It doesn't try to overcomplicate things, or it does go in a real direction, and it's like last 10 to 15 minutes, just like the end of the third act was. I'm not going to spoil it, but it takes a swing. But overall, I think this is a great back to basics horror vibe of an alien movie. I think the aliens here look the best since Aliens because I love the design of the alien and the xenomorph in the first two movies. And I love the fact that Tractor went from a practical vibe, and to me, they look the best in this movie since Aliens. So the design of xenomorph looked fantastic. I thought the actress who played the Wayne character, I thought she was great in this. And I think the actor who played Annie was great in this. I thought they did a great job of where I really felt invested in their two characters, and they show in the movie that he's a synthetic. I think he's one of the most interesting synthetics in this franchise, and he was a robot synthetic made by a dad, so he's like a brother to his own. I thought they did a great job where you really bought them as a brother and sister. And I thought they were very likable characters. I felt invested in those two characters, and it just you wanted those two to at least make it out alive. And I love the face huggers in this. Like this movie, there's a great sequence in this movie where, to me, the face huggers are even more dangerous in this movie. And I love this, again, the practical effects with the face huggers look great in this movie. I love the scene where you see like the acid. There's a scene where she, because it starts off kind of like the original Alien movie, kind of like a horror vibe, and then it kind of goes into the vibe of aliens, acid. And there's a great scene where she's like shooting the aliens coming at her, and you see like she has to go after she kills them, she has to like go through this where gravity's on, and she's floating in the air, and there's like the acid blood like all around it. I thought that was like a cool sequence. So this movie just to me just does a great job of capturing that horror vibe of the original. Now the negatives I would say about this movie is that it does do a little bit too many callbacks. I love most of the callbacks. There was one line that came off kind of lame where Annie is when he kills one of them, says he says "Biss," and you have that famous line in Aliens where Ripley says to the Queen, "Get away from her, you Biss," or something like that. And to me, it just the way Annie says in this movie, the way it's used, just came out kind of lame, and wasn't a fan of that. Like some of the callbacks just didn't, line wise, like that was the biggest one in the movie for me, line wise. Where I was like, I wish you didn't do that. Like to me, it was badass in Aliens, and it just kind of comes off lame. And I just don't, sometimes when you do callbacks, sometimes it doesn't work, and that was like the biggest example of that. And when it came to, I can see this being a controversial opinion. The actor who played the synthetic ass in the original anime movie, he's playing a different synthetic in this. I thought overall it looked pretty good to CGI. It still has that uncanny valley, and I can understand why some people wouldn't like the idea of bringing like that actor back because the actor died and using his likeness. I didn't have a problem with that, and from what I heard, the director did ask the family, but I can totally understand why that might be a little too much. Because using the actor likeness when they pass, I can totally understand why people feel, different, like could be on either side with that. I didn't personally have a big problem with that, but it still had that uncanny valley look to it, look to this actor that passed away. So it didn't completely work for me, but I thought it looked at least decent wise. And then I would say another, I would say like another negative, along with the callbacks is I do think even though I've really felt invested in the Wayne character and the Annie character and those two characters, And this isn't a big negative, but the other three characters were basically cannon fodder. Like, there's one character that I just completely hated. I thought it was just like an asshole. And there's a line later on where I can't remember what the line was, but there's a line later on that explains why this one character is picking on Annie for most of the movie. But I couldn't wait till he died. Like, his character was so annoying and such an asshole in this movie to me. And the other two characters were fine, but they were just kind of forgettable. Like, they were there to be basically eaten. Like, there wasn't much to their characters. But that didn't bother me too much with the other three characters because with the two main characters, with Wayne and Andy, I felt really invested in those two characters. So to me, they made great main characters, but the three side characters were just kind of like the other three part of the crew were just kind of like forgettable characters to me. And then I'm not going to spoil this, but the last 10 to 15 minutes is kind of the big negative. Is the big negative for me where they take a swing, and it does remind me of something from a different alien movie that they decided to do. Oh, and I do like the Prometheus connections in this. There's some connections to Prometheus. Like, I would say watch the original alien movie, and Prometheus would be the two I would recommend watching before seeing this. And as someone who doesn't like Prometheus, I'll say this. The connections they make to Prometheus actually worked for me in this. As someone who didn't like Prometheus. Because obviously Prometheus and Alien Covenant, they're canon. I didn't see anything connected to Alien Covenant, but there is some references to Prometheus in this. Like, you do have the black goo in this. I remember that was in Prometheus, and there's a scene where it shows like what it does to a rat. So you do like, and you do hear a line when they reference Prometheus. Like, you hear them say Prometheus in a line. So it does have it does have connections to Prometheus. Which, as someone who didn't like Prometheus, like I said, it actually worked for me in this movie. But the last 10 to 15 minutes, the swing they go for, I need to think more about this when I watch this second time, because I do want to watch this movie a second time and see how the last 10 to 15 minutes hit me. Because right now I'm a little like not really a fan. Like, I wouldn't have done that. Like I said, they've done a similar thing before in one of the previous Alien movies, and the look of it just kind of looks a little silly to me. But I want to see how I feel in a second viewing with the last 10 to 15 minutes, because just one of those things where it's like I didn't really click for me on this viewing when I saw it in theaters, but I want to see how it kind of lands for me on a second viewing. But I would say that's the big thing to me that didn't really completely work for me. It's the last 10 to 15 minutes. Like, I'll probably put up a spoiler review at some point and really go into more details of those last 10 to 15 minutes, the swing they take. I'll just say for this review, I don't want to spoil it. I'll say for this review, it didn't really completely work for me. But overall, I think this is a great return to form. Again, I don't think this is like better than Alien Aliens. I still think Alien Aliens are the top two, but I do think this is the best Alien movie since Aliens. I think it does a lot of things. It does a lot of things that I love about when it comes to. I love the two main characters. I felt invested in them. I think it definitely brings back to basic approach. It definitely makes the aliens feel scary again, like the first two movies. I love the practical effects. There's a lot of great tense moments in this movie. A lot of cool visuals in this movie. So overall, I do think this is a great movie. And I would definitely put this in third place when it comes to the Alien movies. Like, to me, it's definitely the best sequel since Aliens. And I think if you like watch Alien Romulus, and Aliens, I think that's a great trilogy in my opinion. So that's my thoughts on Alien Romulus. Until next time, movie fans.